Hello everybody, Melanie Dean here. Really excited to be back here with you on this podcast. Today I'm going to speak about law of attraction, about manifestation. This for me is an absolute key skill to master in life. It's a key lesson in life. It is crazy, and if you have children or if you have cousins, nephews, nieces, little sisters, brothers, teach them and start them young, because the law of attraction is just that. It's a law, and it's happening whether we want it to or not. Like the law of gravity. If you drop an apple, it's going to land on the floor, whether you want it to or not. Whether you want it to or not, it's going to happen, because it's a law. It's the law of gravity, and law of attraction is the same. It's the law. So whether you believe it or not, it's still happening. So why not utilize it? Why not just go with it anyway and then utilize it? So the key thing I want to touch on first is with law of attraction is stay general. Sometimes what happens is we get so fiercely stuck on how something's going to look that we miss it. We miss an opportunity because it's not showing up exactly how we expected it to. Say, for example, we want to meet someone. We want to meet and start a new relationship with someone, and we're really excited about it. We're putting out with great energy, but we want it to look a certain way. We want them to think a certain way. We want them to do certain things, and we're really restricting how it could look and how it could be, because we've got an idea in our head of how it should be. And then there could be somebody that stood right in front of you who's going to be the most beautiful partner for you and to have a relationship with, but you don't see it. You can't see them in that way because they're not matching how you feel it should look like, or how you feel they should look like, or they should be, or they should act. And so we can really miss like beautiful moments, beautiful opportunities, because we're not staying in that open space. We're not staying open-minded, and we're not staying general. So that's one of my first tips, is stay general. That doesn't mean that you can't have a really good idea of what you want to create. Absolutely. But stay general with it. Stay general, and then you can be open to so much more. So to bring in what we desire, we have to match the vibration. We can't afford to have long periods of negativity or fear. We just can't, because if we're in that energy for long, and by long I mean like days, weeks and months and years, then that is absolutely going to reflect in our outside world. As within, so without. What we think about, we bring about. So we can't afford to be in that negative energy or that energy of fear. And if you feel like you are feeling challenged with that, have a listen to, I think it was my first podcast, I spoke about the fact that we're on this polarity planet and how to activate the positive. So to bring in what we desire, what we desire, we have to match that vibration. So if what we desire is on a certain frequency, we have to match that frequency. And that's literally how a radio station works, and that is law of attraction. You can think of it like that. So for example, you might be listening to, it depends where you are in the world, maybe you're listening to Radio 1 but you want to listen to Classic FM. Well, if you want to listen to Classic FM, you have to change the frequency of the radio channel, otherwise you can't hear it. You have to literally change the frequency. Now Radio 1 is still playing while you've changed your frequency on the radio dial in the olden days. You're listening to Classic FM because that's where you've changed your frequency to match. Radio 1's still happening. There's all these layers that are still happening. There's all these frequencies that are still happening. Netflix is happening. Amazon Prime is happening. Radio 1, 2, 3, 4, classic jazz. All these frequencies are available to us. They're all happening. Which one do you want to tune into? And that becomes your reality. And it's the same with law of attraction. You have multiple layers and levels and frequencies of things that you can attract, and whatever you're attracting is because you're vibrating at the frequency of what it is that you can see. Okay, that's literally the concept that is manifestation. You will manifest the frequency that which you vibrate with. That's it. So we are matching an idea. So three reasons why we might not be creating, we might not be manifesting what our heart desires. Number one, we are not consistently matching the vibration. So you can't maybe expect to be in that vibration all the time, because if you were, you would have it, right? You would have created it because you're at that frequency consistently. So it's not about being perfect. Again, we don't want to feel these lower vibrations of anger, frustration, annoyance, all those vibrations and those feelings, because that's going to take us off the vibration. But we do want to make sure we're being there as consistently as we can, matching that vibration as consistently as we can. That's number one. Number two, we can't match the vibration if we don't align with what we believe. So you might have a desire that you want to manifest a business, let's say, but there's something going on, could be subconsciously, could be consciously, whereby you don't align with having a business because maybe you have fears. Maybe you've always been conditioned to think, oh, I need a secure job. Like that's the only way to feel secure is by having a job and working for someone else. So you're wanting one thing, you're putting it out to the world, you're consciously thinking, I want a business, I want to start a business, I want to invite a business into my life, but you're not aligning with what it is that you say you desire. So there's a mismatch. There's a mismatch of the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, that you're not aligning, and therefore what it is you desire can't come in because there's a mismatch of frequency. The third reason is sometimes it's just patience. Sometimes you might be vibrating there. You might be feeling all the feels, doing all the do's and being all the beings, but it's just patience. It is held for you for the perfect time. And this requires trust. It requires faith. It requires prana. It requires chi. It requires energy. Again, in our system, we want to create energy in our system so we can hold the vibration. We can hold the frequency until it is absolutely the perfect time for us. We are all here on this planet with different life lessons, different karmic energies to clear, different stories, different upbringings, different imprints, different work to do. We can't compare ourselves to each other. We just can't. And that's why we must never judge other people as well. We must never judge other people if saying, oh, well, you just need to vibrate the consciousness of that, what you desire, and you'll get it. Like sometimes it's not always as simple as that. Sometimes we just have to have faith and trust that actually the universe, whatever you want to call it, the universe, source, God, that vibration knows exactly what you want, and it acknowledges the vibration is there, but it's waiting for that perfect, sweet moment for it to come in. So the next thing I just want to touch on is about the importance of contrast. Contrast is important. I was thinking about this the other day, and there's really something really powerful about polarity. I was listening to someone, it was one of my favorite YouTube channels, and she was speaking about how it was a really cold, crisp day, and she had a really hot drink. And I just thought, oh, that sounds amazing. I want it to be a cold day with a hot drink, and I'm living in Bondi in Sydney. And then I thought, well, actually, I really love hot days with a nice cold drink. That's my favourite. And there's something about that polarity that just makes you feel alive. Even just hearing it and feeling it and having it just makes you feel alive. And that's called that contrast. And sometimes we need contrast in our life. So we want one thing, but we get so the opposite. And that's okay too. Again, it doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that you've done something wrong. It's just the universe, the source energy, helping you know what you do want, helping you know what you don't want, and also helping you be reminded of gratitude, helping you feel grateful. that contrast is important. We can learn so much from contrast. That doesn't mean to say we want to ask for contrast. We don't want it. We don't want to keep asking for it. But when we do have it and we do happen upon it, embrace it. We experience what we don't want, so we know what we do want. So the next thing I want to touch on is staying in the energy field. Staying in the energy field of what it is that you desire, because when you do, you're going to act from inspired action. Your actions are going to be inspired rather than should. I should do this. I must do that. Someone told me I should do this. That whole should energy is a low vibrational energy. If you're doing something because you should do it, it's quite a low vibration. If you're doing something because you kind of want to do it, then it's a higher vibration than should. It's still not amazingly high. If you're saying, oh, I'm so excited to do that, I'm so passionate about doing that, that is inspired action. And that's a completely different frequency. Even the way I said it, you can hear how different it sounds. And then also staying in that vibration of inspired thoughts. When we're in the energy field that resonates with what it is that we desire, we start getting ideas and we don't even know where they're coming from. But you'll start getting incredible insights and ideas to project you forward on that path of what it is that you want to manifest and what you want to create. So surrender to everything else. Trust and have faith. Because if you're trying to interfere and you're trying to figure it all out, again, you're bringing the vibration to a lower vibration. And also you don't need to. Trust that whatever energy can create a beautiful baby from a sperm and an egg, or the energy that can create a beautiful oak tree from a little acorn, the energy that brings the sun up in the morning and the moon in the night and the waves along the ocean and the beauty that is planet Earth, the energy that can create that. Trust and have faith that that same energy can also create what it is that you desire. It's not hard. There's no level of difficulty when we're asking for help from that energy, from the universe, from source. So hold the frequency and hold that vibration. And we do that with the prana, the chi, the energy, the life force that we have through the system. So whether that's you doing meditation, conscious breathing, using mantras, doing yoga, and basically, moving your body, being in nature, eating healthy. This isn't about, again, we don't want to be putting pressure on ourselves to be this perfect yogi student type person. You don't need to do that. But it's just being mindful of our actions and our day-to-day living. So the next thing I want to touch on is affirmations. The verbiage is best when we do speak like it's already happened. We're already speaking in the energy of it's already happened. So I remember when I first made the decision I wanted to move to Australia, before I'd even booked any flights, before anything was kind of confirmed, I was just telling everyone, I'm moving to Australia. And then it got to the point where people was telling me, oh, I heard, Mel, you're moving to Australia, aren't you? And my affirmation in my head then became my affirmation out of my mouth, that then became someone else hearing my affirmation, which then became a confirmation. People were confirming my affirmation to me, and I thought, yeah, it must be happening then because you're telling me that it is. It was just genius. So really speak into what it is that you want. Whatever you want, own it. Don't be shy. Don't apologize. If you want to create something really super materialistic, but it's something you really want, then own it. It doesn't matter. There's no judgment. There's no story. You own it. Have that discernment for who you are, what you want, and what your desires are. Because if you've already had the feeling that you want something, it already exists. It's already happened. Again, I think I spoke about this in the first podcast, but time isn't linear. Time is layered. If your heart desires something, it's because it's already happened. And like I said, the only way it's not, you can't see it, is because you're not matching the frequency of it. So you don't have to apologize for anything that you want. Own it. Speak truth into it. Speak into it. What I would say is a little bit of a side note about affirmations as such. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes they can be counterproductive. Sometimes when we speak about affirmations, if we're not fully in alignment, if we're not fully in truth, if we're not fully certain that it is a possibility for us, it can activate the polarity. It can activate the voice that says, as if that's never going to happen. And when you start activating that voice can become the stronger voice. That's like the sort of more like the subconscious mind that's speaking through there. So affirmations are great, but be mindful that they might not always be perfect for every situation. So have clarity, have that deep intention, and start matching that vibration. Discern what it is that you truly desire and own it as part of you living in this life. And what I would say as a real great tool is, as often as you can, close your eyes for 17 seconds and imagine the feeling of it already happening. So circling back to what I said at the beginning about staying general, the reason why we can stay general is because it's not about the detail. When we close our eyes and we visualize, it's not always about the detail, it's about the feeling. How does something make you feel? We manifest from feeling. So if you can't imagine how it might feel to have which it is that you desire, but you know what the feeling would be, so you know the feeling would be ecstatic, think about when was the last time you were ecstatic and tap into that moment and utilize that energy, that feeling from that moment. And that will lift the vibration to match the feeling of what it is that you desire in this lifetime. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me on the Radiant Living podcast. Please feel free to share this if you found this helpful, beneficial. Please feel free to leave a review. That would be wonderful. And feel free to share on Instagram and tag me at Melanie J. Dean. You can also pop over to my website, melaniejddean.com, and you can sign up for some free meditations, get some Kundalini yoga information, sign up for the newsletter, and also actually you can get yourself a free journal as well. So I look forward to seeing you all again or speaking to you all again next week. Thank you. Bye.